Well, this next song is probably our most famous song, and as you all know, no heavy metal party without any boy band.
I see by your job application, you've scored 6 million on the video game Munchman.
Yeah?
And I see you shot down 2 billion aliens from the planet Mongo.
Yeah.
You are good at computer games. So what do you know about computers?
If you're going to spend your time playing video games, why not play them in something that can also teach you about computing? Get a Commodore VIC-20. It's tough to grow up in a computer age without learning about computers.
Thank you. I would like to propose a toast for everybody who has been doing demos for 20 years or more. Toast! What I'm going to do now is thank you. I'm going to talk a little bit about how cool it is to be a computer game band. One of the really cool things is we get to go to all these demo parties. I went to my first demo party 20 years ago. Probably Fairlight was there, I don't know. But like, I've been walking around and seeing what you're doing out there on your screens and on the competitions. And I have to say, you guys really kick some ass. And like 8 years ago, we as a band and as a demo group met some other Germans who also kick ass. Don't know if you've heard of them. They're named Farbrausch. Ever ring a bell? The problem with those guys is that they drink Diet Pepsi, so. But right now we're going to play one of the old classic Commodore 64 songs, the way that Farbrausch would have played it if they were going to play it. This one is called Wistful. 1, 2, 3. It's time for some bass. Okay, now I'm actually going to do something that scares me more than making fun of Farbrausch. This is a thing that involves high technology stuff that can be bought at Lidl for €10 and shaky USB connections. This is the time where we show our wild demo competition for the evening. So here's our combo. We are going to play a song using only old game controllers from one of the best game controllers from the best games ever. So, what we have on the left, your right, is Andre, and he's going to sing on an old PlayStation 1 controller. Sounds like this. Thank you. Then we have Jesper, He is playing a guitar from a Guitar Freaks game that was on the PlayStation 1. It sounds like this. Yes, sir. So now we have Uffe. He always plays the bass. He does that on my favorite controller, the PlayStation 2 controller. And it sounds like this, yeah. Bassy, bassy, bass. Okay, then we have Theo. He is playing on his Scratch controller, and he can scratch with a very fine sound that's like this. Scratch. Then we have Martin. He plays the Donkey Kongers, and he can play the organ. Yeah, that's right. So, I got a question from the audience. Where is the dance mat? Well, we were just down at Lidl. They have it on sale. I hope this one works. We don't know. It's actually a pretty piece of very robust technology. This is my dance mat. And with that, I'm going to play the drums. So right now we're going to hear what it sounds like when every drum is being played at the same time. That's what happens when you connect it. It sounds like this. Thank you. And the final piece. This is not the arcade. This is actually the Competition Pro. This is really cool. They sell it out in the lobby. It has auto fire. It has everything you need. Whoa, and we keep on playing the drums. And when I play this one, it sounds like this. Hold it, there's a bug with the thing here. I told you it was shaky. Yeah. Okay, we always have something to do in an emergency like this. We always ask, is there anybody here from East Germany? Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry we can't play on dance mat. We have to play on the real drums. We'll do that instead. Sorry about that. Sorry. It's broken. Yeah, just give it to the guy, please.
Killing with your gun, leave him lying on his uniform. All right, for the next tune, we'd like to dedicate this to the composer, Richard Joseph, who unfortunately passed away earlier this year. He was a great guy, and we're going to play one of his great tunes. We're going to play the theme tune from Cauldron 2. In our interpretation, we call it...
Unfucking man, unfucking man, unfucking man. Unfucking man, 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 unfucking
Okay, sorry. Grölpass und Check, bewegt euren Arsch zum Infodesk. Danke.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to apologize for that bit of product placement. Sorry about that. And this was just a thrust by Rob Hubbard. And now for some ghosts and goblins.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we might be this very geeky band who plays cover versions of old C64 tunes, but actually we are much more than that. Sometimes we also play covers of other bands playing covers of Commodore 64 tunes. So this next song is a cover of a band doing a cover of a C64 tune, which is a cover of an Amiga tune. So this is Machine Supremacy's version of Great Giana Sisters.
keeping up with the Commodore, 'cause the Commodore is keeping up with you.
The world's #1 selling home computer is now in a family pack, the Commodore 64, plus data cassette and joystick, 4 software programs including Introduction to Basic, a teach-yourself program for the whole family. The Commodore 64 Family Pack, a value of $700 for just $499.
Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you.
first job, and the years they pass. You just want to do, though you're busting your ass. Is life really just all this work? The long hours and the extra perks. Every day gotta prove you're the best. Nose to the grindstone work. Like possessed to get that promotion and increase in pay. Your life trickles away. Can't you see where to go? It's the point of life that you make some dough. Working to get a mortgage. Oh, are you stressed out to even? Lose your life, your responsibility. Try to pick up a red machine. The breeze dropping off, but you know you lose the chase. Set the pace for the human race. Yeah, thanks. This next number is we're trying to redo a very trying actually to do a German song actually, but it's in English. It's our version. It's they are very famous, this group, and they were very famous for their very static show on the scene. So this is Das Gamer.
It's another cover of a cover.
Yeah, it's a cover, yeah. Thanks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
looking out. His face is people, but his butt is fat. He plays all day long, he sleeps from 4 to 5. It only takes a Commodore to stay alive. Up every night, he is in constant pain, and he's been playing nearly every his Commodore, he does the best he can. I saw him buy a disc drive in the hardware store. Now games are loaded faster on his C64. Non-stop. Do you know I'm here? Don't you feel I'm near? My protective stare helps you to take care. I'm your phantom matter, all the things you never see, and I'm watching you. In the office when you're shopping every hour, I know everything you do. Cause I'm your phantom, please don't be afraid, I only want to spend some time with you. Every time you lose your head, your back, I'm always there, I know you want me to. You are so beautiful, you're so adorable, make me feel wonderful, make me feel horrible. I'm always going to stay with you, even when you say you're good. So when you run away from me, you don't stick from me. So beautiful, you're so adorable, make me feel wonderful, make me feel horrible. I'm always going to stay you see, even when they say I'm too cold. That's a reason to run away from me. You cannot escape from me. I'm your best, please don't be afraid. I only want to spend some time with you. And it's y'all when you're sleeping, I am always there. I know you want me to.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid we've reached the point where we have to call it a night.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, actually. This is our final tune for tonight. I'm sure most of you will recognize it. It was made by a Japanese guy whose name oddly escapes my memory right now. And it's from Outrun. Thank you, thank you. More? Really? This is a total surprise. We're completely unprepared. I mean, Andre has no idea what he's playing.
Yeah, it's a random tone.
Every of the tunes start with that, so it's easy. Okay, then, you asked for it earlier. Here it comes. Monty, on the run. Okay, we've said it earlier tonight. We're not just a C64 band. I mean, you've seen us cover an Amiga tune. And we're expanding. So now we want your help because we are gonna do our very first PlayStation 2 tune. And it's from one of those games, you know, rhythm games where you have to do stuff in rhythm with the music. In this game you have to sing along. They'll be guided to the big screen, hopefully. So follow the rules. This is Parappa the Rapper. That's right. I'm in the house. Here it comes. Extra, extra, read all about it. The best burgers in town from all around. People from around the world come and get it. The line goes around like a merry-go-round and cut. Cut. Heat. Heat. You gotta toast. Toast. You gotta cook. Very nice. Once more. Cut. Cut. You gotta heat. Heat. They gotta toast. Toast. And cook. Burgers comprise a shake or a flake. If you're hungry, simply dine up at the end. Come on, people, gather round. We got everything you want from all around. And cut the lettuce. The lettuce. You gotta heat the grill. Heat the grill. Toast the buns. Toast the buns. Cook the patties. Cook the patties. Serve the drinks. Serve the drinks. Melt the cheese. Melt the cheese. French the fries. French the fries. Fry the French. Sweep the floor. Watch the play control the flame, guys. Follow the rules, then we got to man and cook those barrels. Cook those burgers. Turn the patty over. Turn the patty over. Come on and watch them fries. You better watch them fries. Better execute sooner. Better execute sooner. Bring on the ketchup. Bring on the ketchup. Don't forget the cheese. Don't forget the cheese. Bring on the mustard. Bring on the mustard. Burgers, burgers is all we have in mind. We cook the best, you better get in line. And put it on a tray, and off you ought to go. Any which way it tastes good, so. And cook those burgers, turn the patty over. Cook those burgers, turn the patty over. Cut the lettuce, don't forget the cheese. Cut the lettuce, don't forget the cheese. Cook the buns, French the fries. Cook the buns, French the fries. Bring on the ketchup, sweep the floor. Bring on the ketchup, sweep the floor. Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. Now go serve those burgers right now.
All right, I'm off to a good start.
Okay, this is the very final. We have to get on with more combos and stuff, so ladies and gentlemen, Monkey Island. Thank you. Now feel free to buy us something to drink and buy our CD, which you can get in the info desk.
Your choice.